But the bottom line is, you get a call from your agent. And they're like, "You want to do a scene with Joaquin and De Niro?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's in a comic movie." I'm like, "No, I didn't." Yes, of course. What am I? Of course, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. You know him from movies and streaming shows, and of course, one of the best podcasts in the world. And we're happy he's back in town, ladies and gentlemen. Marc Maron is here. Hey, Mark.
Am I on? Is it on?
It is on.
And comedy. They know me from comedy.
They do. That's why you're at the Miriam tonight, man. We were checking our records, and I think the last time you came by for a visit was in our studio in 2012.
I know. Look at us all turning old. Look at a bunch of old men now.
That's why you got to shave your head.
I do?
Yeah,
is it time?
What happens is it at least removes that visual cue, So
then you're just the ageless bald man.
Exactly.
How old is that Buddha?
Yeah. Exactly. You always, you look good, Buddha.
Yeah. But I don't know when it happened to me though. Like I'm just starting to notice it now. For years,
you
I was
look good though. No, you look good. I'm going to say I'm going to put you in the age-defying category, and I think because you have an iconic mustache.
Oh, is that what's happening?
I think that's it. Yeah.
I finally have an iconic mustache.
Yes, I think because you can be drawn with your facial hair. You're in one of the rare class of people, celebrities, who can be defined by their facial hair. Just in a sketch.
I used to do the sort of a soul patch zapper thing. Now I got some. Now I got a full beard going. But I think I just noticed it a couple weeks ago. I think I slept one might have been last Wednesday. I woke up old. Like I feel like everybody hits that moment where you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, it happened. I don't know when it happened.
Do you know what it is? It's like sometimes. Why does that jiggle now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is.
Are you jumping up and down in front of the mirror? Look at me. It's all going. It's all jiggling.
That's it.
Something hurts that didn't hurt before.
That's happening.
And the time to recover takes longer.
Yeah, if you ever do recover, it's the living with the hurting. You know what I mean? Like, I guess my toes are like that now. Yeah, but I feel all right. I think so.
You're in good shape. You've remained in good shape for quite a while.
It takes work, man.
I was watching, Mark, a documentary just over last weekend on Sam Kinison, and you go back to that. And I think of all the ways, knowing you were going to be in, the bizarre, fluidity of life, and you're in that prominently.
I was.
Yeah, you're mentioned many times. Yeah, in the beginning. So the
where is this on?
Yeah, it's Prime or something. So, but long story short, if you look at your career the way it's firing now, it's got to be wild to be where you were back then, to gone through all you've gone through.
Yeah.
The book is out. Waiting for the Punch. The shows, the podcast, interviewing the president, all of this stuff. Do you have time to take a breath and absorb it all, or do you just keep going?
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm experimenting with experiencing peace of mind. And happiness, because I'm told it's beneficial to us, and that's what we're working towards. It does get to a point where because things turned around for me. Not later in life. I'm not like 70, but I mean, my success came in my 40s.
Yeah,
and it does make a difference. I know people are like they say like, does success really make a difference? Yes.
Yeah,
it does make a difference in terms of. Because you spend so much time committed to something. Like with comedy, I mean, that's all I wanted to do, and that's all that I really am. And when you do that, after a certain point, there's no plan B. You get 20 years into something, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I could always... Oh, man.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
There's nothing there. What the last job I had was a really legit job. I was a grill cook, in college, I think, before I committed to comedy. Or I worked at a coffee shop somewhere. So... it's not lost on me that it's sort of amazing that I've pulled it out in the second half here, but I am trying to appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to do nice things. I'll go ahead and fly first class if that's okay. And,
yes,
and the other
treat yourself, because you don't want to be that guy who shuns all.
No, I don't. But I also have that brain of a comic where it's sort of like, I don't know when this money's going to go away. I don't know when the work's going to dry up. I don't know if I'm going to get that club date.
Right.
And I still have that survival kind of mindset.
Do you know what was very, very telling was, and I always reference it because I think it's probably as true a thing as you'll ever see, is Joan Rivers in her documentary right at the end there. She had her book. Her schedule, and there was open space, even at her career, with the way everything was going. I got to fill that in. It's a day open. I got it. Yeah, right. So
I'm
it
a
never
little better
leaves you,
at that.
does it?
It doesn't. No,
Yeah.
but I'm always pretty busy. I'm like doing the comedy, and then I do the TV show now, the Glow Show. We got one more season of that.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it's a fun show. And then the podcast.
And Joker. All this stuff. So, that's.
I got a hot, like a tight 40 seconds in Joker.
Hey, you got more than Brian Callen.
Callen's like, is that him?
Yeah. You got more than Gary Goldman.
No, Gary Goldman was kind of featured, but he's doing his act.
Yeah, I love him, by the way.
Well, it was funny because there's this whole thing where I did it was a longer scene with me and De Niro. Like it wasn't the whole movie, but we did a walk and talk thing heading up to the dressing room where we enter, and that's the scene in the Joker. But there's a whole other thing where I'm like, how you doing? What's going on? Let's not do this.
They excise that?
Well, because I asked the guy, Todd Phillips, I said, before I saw the movie, I said, am I in it? Did I make the cut? He goes, well, we cut the walk and talk. And I was like, all right. He goes, we had to, because he said, there's not a scene in that movie that doesn't involve the Joker.
Yeah.
So it's completely from his point of view, or he's always in every frame. So anything that didn't involve him, that he wasn't in, they took out. And it made sense to me.
Okay.
And he said that one, like that scene, that walk and talk, had nothing to do with Joker. So they really...
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, it made sense.
You had a funny observation on Colbert. You were talking about.
Because I get this opportunity.
It's De Niro. It's
Right.
freaking De Niro.
Well, people I'm fairly critical of Marvel movies, and I get I've gotten a lot of pushback.
Well, as you can
from
see, we're fans.
Yeah, but I get a lot of pushback from the grown male nerd community.
Yes.
Has it gets very mad at me. But when they found out I did Joker, they're like, "No, you're a hypocrite," and they're very excited that they think they won something.
Yeah.
But
We got him. We converted him.
No, they were like, this guy's opinion means nothing.
Right.
He's a sellout. but the bottom line is, you get a call from your agent, and they're like, you want to do a scene with Joaquin and De Niro? I'm like, it's in a comic movie. I'm like, no, I didn't. Yes, of course. What am I? Of course, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Right.
So, all right, can I ask you what your stance is on these comic movies? Because are you up there with like how Bill Maher feels about them?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Bill has a tone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's delicate. That's delicate.
And I don't know if I'm within that tone.
Okay.
I mean, I think you could put me in the mildly condescending.
Right. Sure.
I have a problem with it culturally, because I do believe that there's a fanatical sort of commitment to them. I do believe that because of their popularity, they do push out other entertainment options. And I do believe that, I don't know that as a grown-up, I've earned this age that I'm at. I don't want to feel sort of bullied to go see children's movies.
Okay. I understand that. I understand that
because people who like those movies, even if they're grown-ups, they're sort of like, come on. They're almost like missionaries for them. There's just like a bunch of Disney stooges, who are trying to tell you it's like this is their life.
Well, right. I've been a fan throughout all my life, and so it attaches to pivotal moments of my childhood.
Sure.
But I understand it's the same way vegans try to push, the whole thing. And I
think one is more healthy. Like I don't think you're getting any health benefits from the Avengers movies. Well, Batman's like the DC Marvel's different. And I've used that joke. Like when people were like, "Yeah, you're doing it's a DC movie." So, it's a little darker, a little more grown up. More grown up. Yeah.
I do understand it because I love the movies. Yeah. I'm not a comic book guy. I didn't read the comic books growing up, so I don't have this like long vested interest in like, oh my God, it's finally happening.
I think it's a belief system.
Right.
I mean, these guys have been reading. Go ahead. Sorry.
But no, my wife doesn't watch any of them, and I tried to have.
I think that's something a lot of men say.
But I tried to have this argument with her. I'm like, no, it's really, really great cinema. But now, like hearing you talk, I'm like, okay, you know what? Listen. You're allowed to not be into them, and I need to just kind of like drop it right then and there. Like, okay.
Wow, I think if this feels like some sort of peace talk.
We've made a breakthrough.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to drop it right there. That's interesting. You sure you don't want to get online with an army of your peers?
No,
and talk
it's
about
too much work, man.
That's an argument nobody's ever going to win. So that's what gets me is why have that argument? Maybe just for the catharsis of having the argument itself.
No, I tell you why. And my producer Brendan has explained this to me is because this is a group of people that were sort of marginalized in a way. The nerds were always sort of the brunt of the joke.
Yeah.
And now they own culture.
They do.
And they're not going to let it go. So anybody that's going to start pushing at it, they're like, no! And it's always shrill and awkward, and they're having feelings.
Well, you look at like Scorsese just caught.
I think that was a reasonable.
And he's
assessment.
just saying. And listen, if Martin, you certainly have to entertain Martin Scorsese's view on things. At its basic core, it's fun. Yeah. That's what it is. It's a diversion. It's a harkening back nostalgically for childhood.
Right.
But it's not a I don't want to leave childhood. But I know what you're saying.
I get bored.
Yeah.
I'm bored.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? The stories are simple, and I get it. Like I know they're like you got to see the one with Hugh Jackman and what's that
Logan.
one? If you want to start, because I'm going to try to watch some.
Yeah.
Just for
watch Logan.
But I think I'll start at the beginning. I've seen Iron Man.
Yeah.
I saw that, and I think that maybe Iron Man. I don't know.
It's okay.
You don't.
It's really okay.
Again, it's funny because we deal with obviously the station plays music and a song will come up and. It's the ultimate subjective thing. How do you respond to music? But
it sucks.
People speak in concrete. This is great.
Yeah. It's the same with comedy. It's the same with everything. These things are subjective. You don't have to like them.
Right.
But I mean, my problem is with those movies. Generally, I really do get bored. I mean, if you're not thrilled by dudes flying around and throwing buildings and rocks and cars and things, I don't know. It was never my thing. And I read some comics, but even the comics I read when I was a kid were not those. I read like Swamp Thing, and then I went into the Gaiman stuff. Hellblazer and Sandman. I liked
good stuff.
I liked a lot of the underground world of comics. I like Daniel Clowes. I like that guy. What's his name? Burns, who does the 8-ball comics.
So what do you
Peter
like?
Bag.
Do you like horror movies and stuff?
Nope.
Or you're not into that stuff?
No, I
like
have
monster
no
movies?
patience. No patience for that. I just kill the guy. I don't know what that feeling of suspense is not one of my favorite entertainment feelings.
What in the pop culture realm? What's your go-to genre? What do you most find yourself being drawn to when you go to a movie? If you have,
that's a good question. I don't know. I've been watching Succession.
Okay.
I just started watching that.
I love it.
Everyone raves about it. Yeah.
Well, the way they talk to each other is amazing. Because it's not real, but it's like there's the emotional weirdness of the whole thing is great. I just rewatched the entire Breaking Bad.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did?
Yeah. Well, Preston and I did a year or so ago, and now I've watched the last few episodes again because of the Netflix movie that's coming out with Jesse.
I went to the premiere.
Oh, how was it? Can we ask
whose phone is going?
It's yours, I think.
Is it mine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Dude, that happened at the end of Hamilton on Tuesday night.
Hey, it's time to wake up.
Yeah.
Is it your alarm?
It's 7:30.
Oh, my God.
I almost didn't wake up because I thought I said it and I didn't say it, but I woke up anyways. Yeah. The movie's good. It's good. It's almost like I think he made it just because he's like, these guys were so great. Let's just make one more movie.
Okay.
I can
one more
see
thing
that.
with this.
I'm fine with that.
But the premiere was great. I don't usually go to a lot of those, but because I'm on a Netflix show and I've done specials and I've been on a few of their shows, they invite me, and I was like, I'm going to go to this one.
Yeah.
So I wore this shirt, the one you kind of.
I love he's wearing a denim shirt that I really like.
Well, thank you. I mean, I know it's stiff. I know it's new because I knew the way you said it. It's like you're like, wow, where'd you get that shirt? It was a compliment, but they were sort of like a little new. It's a little. Maybe you might want to break that in. But
Is it itchy?
Where'd you get that brand new denim
it
shirt?
had an edge to it. Yeah. You just got that, didn't you? It wasn't a full-on compliment.
Yeah.
Like, that's a denim shirt you got.
That thing is really denim, isn't it?
In the world of denim, that's passive aggressive.
Look, we got to work on him.
That's hilarious.
But the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm still like crazy because I still get kind of starstruck, and it's just kind of because I walk the carpet. I don't have to, but I'm not in the movie. But then you get that picture. It's like also at the premiere, I was there, But
I'm sure Netflix encourages you if you can because you're a Netflix.
Yeah, and I wore this denim shirt. That was the first. There it is. There's the picture you got. See, that's the denim shirt on its first appearance publicly.
Same pants too.
It is the same pants. I got 4 things, dude. I don't I got two pairs of pants I wear at any one time and 3 shirts.
You're stylish.
I love the Us
do we have
magazine where they say he really loves his, and it's like 5 pictures of you in the denim shirt.
And that's it. Yeah. Well, I'm breaking it in. So, but I get starstruck, and also there's a weird mixture of like, do people know who I am, and can I approach them? There's some of them I do. Like I saw Ed Begley there. Ed Begley gave me a big hug. And that's not
Ed
nothing.
Begley's great.
That's not nothing, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I saw Jonathan Banks, who plays Mike.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he does know me, but I walk up to him because I grew up in Albuquerque, and they shot the whole thing in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And my buddy from 2nd grade lives in an apartment building that Mike just got a place in because they shoot out there all the time with Saul and everything else, and they've become friends. So I walk up to Mike. I'm like, my buddy Dave's your buddy, and he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, and then I realize like he doesn't have no idea who I am. Like I don't think he does.
I don't think he gets starstruck.
Oh my God.
No,
Jonathan
but,
Banks. He does not impress me as the type that's he's pretty nonplussed.
But yeah, definitely. But the thing that got me, like, Cranston was nice to me because he's been on the show, and I saw Jesse Plemons, who I've not talked to, but he's like, he was, he knew I was, and we talked. I listened to me. I'm like, some of them know me. Some of the celebrities know me. but
we get the same way.
I know, right?
Hey, we know David Faustino.
Yeah, he came here. Was he here?
He was here.
Wow.
Kathy doesn't remember.
I don't remember.
Hey, Obama would know you. If you walked into a room and he was there, he would recognize
Yeah, I think he might remember. Yeah.
that was pretty special.
Yeah, it was. The president came over. But 1 second,
I also want to find out. Yes, please.
So I'm at the premiere, and
so
I
many
hear
things.
from behind me over at and people are sort of talking before the movie started, and I hear Hank's voice. You know, Hank from the cop in Breaking Bad. And I didn't even know the actor's name, but I'm like, there's Hank! I want to talk to Hank! Like, when I interviewed Cranston, I swear to God, when I did, I was so immersed in the show, it was years ago, that I could not separate him from Walter White.
Yeah.
And like, throughout the entire interview with him, I'm like, I think I need to talk to Walter. So there's certain characters that really impress. Like, Hank's that guy's great. What's his name?
Dean something or other.
Norris.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great
character actor.
I felt myself excited. Like, there's Hank, and he sounds just like Hank talking to other people. But yeah, Obama is no Hank.
Right.
But exciting. Yeah.
Speaking of Obama, the podcast WTF with Marc Maron. 10-year anniversary, man. You've really made that just a mainstay, and it's you do it right. You kind of do what we like to do as a radio show. We just have conversations, and we dive into whatever comes up. You have a basic idea of what you want to talk about, but head down
You do
certain
your
paths.
homework.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Poke around a little bit. Sometimes I miss things. But you got to get used to people saying, like, why didn't you ask him about it? Because, you should have told it. No.
No, it's got to be on your terms. But you're so initially your interviewing skills, your chops, were they developed on like Air America, or did you have a good rapport, a conversation ability? Because I told you earlier before we went on that when we first started, our interviews kind of sounded like interrogations as opposed to just conversations. And when did this switch flip for you?
I think that's a style initially. You know, you want to get these moments. It was like the audio equivalent of clickbait.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You're exactly right.
You kind of want to let's get them on this one. Like I don't do morning radio as much as I used to because I don't know what I'm walking into. I know you guys,
right.
But even phoners, you want to be on a phone with a bunch of monsters who are just looking to tear you down, and you've got no way to defend yourself because you're on a phone.
Yeah.
So. But my style really was more about inviting people I knew over to talk about my problems.
Yeah.
So having celebrities over to talk about my problems and maybe find some midway.
It's a disarming entree into a good conversation.
But I was in trouble. I was bitter. I was cynical. I had people I had to apologize to. But so it sort of evolved like that.
From like a 12-step almost.
Almost like I need to make an amends, or do you like me, or like I'm not comfortable with you. But it was always very personal, and it just kind of evolved from there.
I know you've been dealing with nicotine withdrawal, and I wanted to ask you how that's going.
It's all right, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I'm coming through it. I think I'm at like 7 weeks. And I wasn't even smoking, man. I was doing those lozenges.
So that was the deal, huh?
I loved them. I haven't
Did you
smoked
ever
in
flirt with
years.
the vaping thing?
No.
Okay.
No, I knew right away that there had to be something wrong with
Something's
that.
going to be an issue.
Well, yeah. What's in it? How are they making that? Who's in charge?
That's the question, isn't it?
I want to know if it's a kind of a well-known, historical cigarette company making me sick. These vapes. It's like, where's the goo coming from? What are you putting in there?
Where's your goo coming from?
If it's not Philip Morris or R.J. Reynolds, I don't want anything to do with that.
Chinese goo.
Chinese goo? What is it? How is that not going to be bad?
Well, why'd you start trying these lozenges? Who turned you on to that, or where'd you get the idea to do that?
Well, I've been wrestling with nicotine my whole life, but I haven't really smoked a cigarette in over a decade. So there was a period there. What happens with me is I got off the smokes. I think I had one cigarette during a Keith Richards interview, but I knew I was on the lozenges, and because he made me smoke with him.
All right.
Of course.
Keith Richards,
and he's got a bit of charm when it comes to getting people to do things that are bad for you.
So we've heard, yeah.
He's done that to an entire generation, several. But no, and like I do the gum. It took me years to sort of quit, but then I kind of leveled off on lozenges. I was on gum for a while, but they're not good for your jaw. And then Tom Rhodes, another comic.
Yeah,
we've had him in.
He's
Sure.
great.
Yeah, he turned me on to Walgreens cinnamon 4 milligram lozenges.
So cinnamon. Okay. See, I was always the mint lozenge guy.
Yeah, no, I don't. And I don't do them in. I don't mind them in a pinch. I'll do them.
Why cinnamon?
When you're an addict, you'll do anything. What do you got? The mini ones are too much for me. The little ones dissolve too quickly.
So were you in effect like chain sucking?
Yeah, for sure, man. Are you kidding? I loved it. I looked forward to them like cigarettes. So. But what happens to me is I'll get off everything like I am now, and then I'll decide, like, I think I can have a cigar.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a cigar, and then within 2 weeks, I'm having 2-3 cigars a day.
Yeah.
And I feel like my mouth is rotting. So then I got to get back on the lozenges to get off the cigars, and then I'm locked on those.
So you got to look at me because I'm the only one who's currently addicted to nicotine, and I 130% know exactly what you're talking about.
What are you on?
Yeah.
Just the mints?
No. Now I'm on.
Oh, you're dipping? Yeah, the thing is, like, with that, I've done that.
But but I'm not smoking.
But I'm not. I get it.
But my lungs are okay, Mark.
I get it. I mean, there was a period. I was getting imported snus from like Norway or Sweden. Like someone got me involved with snus.
Yeah.
Which was I think Swedish, right?
Yeah.
Originally. Yeah. But there's a whole catalog of. There's 100 different snuses from Sweden, and they say like it doesn't cause cancer, which is ridiculous.
Spitting.
But I was ordering this stuff that was so strong, like it was like heroin. Like, it's just a packet of snus, and I put it in, and I'd be like, oh, man, I got to sit down. But like in my mind, as a sober guy, I'm like, but I'm not doing anything bad.
Right.
You're sober too, guy?
I'm sober 7.5 years, and I was actually nicotine-free when I got sober.
Yeah.
And then about 3 months into my sobriety, I'm like, well,
you need something.
I need something. I got this gigantic hole that I need to fill, and I'm going to fill with nicotine and caffeine, and that's kind of where I'm at now. But
my brother who had never smoked in his life, when he became sober, he started smoking.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been through. I got 20 years sober, so I've been through a lot of different options.
Yeah.
With the.
But I'm looking. You're not even drinking coffee.
You got food. You got nicotine. You got sex. Yeah, and those are my. If I can move those around, go through a rotation. Like the one thing I never do, thank God, is gamble. Gamble.
No.
I never got that sickness. I do not like losing money. I've never had an experience with gambling that I won so much money that I felt so great that I got to spend my life trying to do that.
That's funny. I get nervous while gambling. I don't. There's no rush or
that
high
is the
for me.
rush. The nerves. That is the rush.
Yeah, but
it doesn't work for you.
Right. Yeah.
Mark, have you ever seen some? Because I've seen a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
The first time we went to Vegas, I saw that switch flip.
Oh man!
And I literally had to take his ATM card because he was gonna go hard.
Really?
Yeah. And I said, dude, you need to put this in check now because he would have tapped out everything. It was crazy.
I lost. I think the most I lost was $800 in an evening, and I'm still mad at the hotel.
Of course.
Like I
I tap out at like 40.
Yeah, it still hurts me.